Welcome to the channel.
What?
Welcome to the channel, bringing a real-world perspective to the real-world whiskey consumer.
And welcome back to another Topical Tuesday video.
Or
welcome for the first time.
If it's your first time.
Yeah. I don't know why I keep saying welcome back. Like you've been here before.
You might have been here before, but if you haven't been here before, welcome. Hi,
Yeah,
we're glad you're here.
Kick your feet off. Make yourself comfortable.
Kick your feet off.
On these videos, what we like to do is start a conversation with you guys. And so today, what we thought
Hopefully
we would
you have your feet.
Yeah. Today, what we thought we would talk about, that's way more funny to us than it should be right now. But today, what we thought we should talk about is what the best bourbons would be for a decanter. Who doesn't like a decanter?
I love a good decanter.
Unless you're a decanter, and then you don't like a decanter because you don't like cant. Nonetheless, we're talking about bourbons that would be good for a decanter.
Okay.
And why would a bourbon be good for a decanter? First up, you might just not like the way it looks.
I would say ugly bottle.
It might be
There's an ugly bottle situation sometimes,
Right.
and I'm not opposed to putting that ugly bottle away and putting it in a pretty bottle.
It might be a great bourbon with a great personality, but the bottle just doesn't look very good.
You gotta put it in a different package.
Exactly. Also, there's brand bias, right? Like if people come over to your house and you have a bottle of whiskey sitting out that is whatever brand, they might say, that's not really my thing. But if you serve it to them out of a decanter, blind, like we do so many tastings around here, they may absolutely love it when you remove that bias from the equation.
That's true. And that could go either way. That could go brand bias for a allocated pour where someone's like, oh, I really want to try that because it's allocated. Or, oh, I don't really like that. It's like an off-the-shelf pour or something. And so you can kind of hide both of those things.
Yeah.
Not hide them, but blind them.
Right. And we'll cover that. And we're also going to talk about home blends because those are absolutely amazing for decanters as well. And we'll talk about our favorite one.
That's what we have on our decanter.
Yes. Over there, over Aaron's shoulder.
Yep.
If you can see it back there, that's
there.
what's in ours. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But first up, let's get to the ugly duckling of the bunch. And let's be upfront about who loves decanter whiskey. Anybody who's a seasoned bourbon drinker probably isn't impressed by your decanter. It's cool looking, but they're not going to be impressed by it. This is more for guests who are a little bit newer into whiskey or maybe don't drink a ton of whiskey.
Or if you just want something visually different on your bar cart, bar cabinet, coffee table, it breaks it up and it looks a little more elevated to present the whiskey in a decanter, I think.
Absolutely. And there is something to that. But I think as far as you have a decanter more for guests than yourself because you know what's in it. So you're not fooling yourself.
I have a decanter for me because I like it. It looks pretty.
Okay. Well, that's fair. But let's say you have one for your guest and you have an ugly bottle that you want to make look a little bit better, but it's approachable too. That's my whole point. The fact that most people who really enjoy decanter whiskey probably don't go for barrel proof stuff.
Okay.
They're probably going to, if you have a barrel-proof bottle that someone really appreciates, they're not going to care what the bottle looks like. They're just going to be like, I know what that is. I want that.
Yeah.
Give it to me. I don't care that the Elijah Craig barrel-proof bottle looks like a coffin or the Stag Junior bottle looks like a stump or whatever.
Yeah.
They just want that whiskey. Whereas somebody who wants something out of a decanter, they might want to stay a little bit lower in the proof range. So we're not going to have any barrel-proof stuff here. We're going to lean more into the lower proof pours. So first up is going to be the ugly bottle. And we're going to say 10 Cup 10 Year absolutely qualifies for this.
I mean, it's nothing to write home about.
It really isn't. And they really put a lot of work into trying to make this thing look good. But it's just not very good looking. Like, I'm not really sure who this is for visually. Maybe the camper. I mean, you do have the top,
which is like a tin cup.
It screws off and you have your little tin cup. So maybe if you're hiking, this has some appeal. But in a home, on top of a shelf or a bar cabinet, it's not really cutting it in our book. But the whiskey inside of it is absolutely awesome. You're getting a 10-year age statement for $50.
Yeah.
It's 84 proof. So it's very approachable, but it's not boring by any means. It's bringing a finish. It's bringing a nice sweet oak element in addition to some fruity sweetness up on the front of the palate. And we love this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, this is a really, really good bottle. For us, we like it even a little bit more than Eagle Rare, which would be another great bottle to put in a decanter, but it's so rare, you just want to keep it and have it to give people when they want. But this right here is a perfect candidate for a decanter. Next up is going to be someone who likes this kind of fruity, dark flavor profile, but they want a little bit more proof. And for us, it's got to be Early Times Bottled and Bond. We love this stuff. It crushes in blinds. It's beat E.H. Taylor in blinds with our patron community. It's beat everything we've put it up against almost for the price point or the proof point, relatively speaking. It's really good, but here's the problem. You got a plastic or a metal screw top rather. The old one was plastic. You got a liter bottle for $25. Nobody is getting impressed by Early Times sitting out on your shelf. But you stick this in a decanter, you have some people over, and you tell them you want to pour them something that's your favorite, and you put a little splash in their glass, and they taste it, and they're blown away by this. I think in blinds, I've said that this is easily a $50 or $60 bourbon, and it's a $25 liter in our market. Next up, we're going to stick in Bottled in Bond land, and we're going to go with JTS Brown, the handle, in the 1.75 liter plastic jug. Now, it is a Butte Clark. Nonetheless, this right here is good whiskey in the bottle. The first time we ever had this was thanks to our friend Scott Kading. He gave us a blind head-to-head between this and William Heavenhill 13-year Bottle and Bond. And the William Heavenhill was better. We did enjoy it better. But this wasn't a country mile behind it.
Right.
Like, it was good whiskey. It is very quintessential bourbon. It's got all your caramels, your vanillas, your oaks. And this stuff is dirt cheap. Like, for a handle, you're looking at $30 or less if it's in your market. If you can find a 750 milliliter, it's going to be somewhere around $10 to $15. And the reason this is such a good pour for a decanter is that it delivers well above what the packaging conveys to you here. This will surprise you. And last up on the list, we're going to go for the Stigma bottle. And it'd be easy for us to say Wild Turkey anything because people don't go to Wild Turkey for whatever reason. And we love Wild Turkey, but we're going to go into Maker's Mark because Maker's Mark gets a bad rep too. And Maker's Mark 46 is actually a really good pour. This stuff right here is 94 proof. I always have to look because I know it's not 90, but it's like, is it 92? Is it 94? What it is it's good. It's really good. It's balanced. It brings some elements to the table that you wouldn't expect out of a wheated bourbon because of the stave finishing. You get a little bit of spice. You get a little something nice.
It's a wheated bourbon that I like, and I don't usually like wheated bourbons.
Yeah. And it has personality for 94 proof.
Yeah.
It's not just flatline, easy sipping. It can disappear into the background if you need it to in a social situation, but if it's something you want to sit down and enjoy and focus on, it has that ability as well. And there's a lot to be said for that because not many 90-ish proof pours can pull that off. So you stick this in a decanter and you pour it for yourself or pour it for some guests, it's going to make an impression, especially if they're not big on big proof. I absolutely think this bottle right here will deliver in a decanter for you. So that's the last bottle, but we still got to talk about home blends because that's what we use our decanter for. That back there has a combination of equal parts of these three bottles right here, which if you watch the channel very often, you already know this blend. This is our Banana Pancakes blend, and this is Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof, Old Forester 1910, and Woodford Reserved Double Oaked. And combined, these are, as the name implies, banana pancakes. It's like a breakfast in a bottle. It's syrupy, it's dark, it's rich, it's sweet. It's got some savory elements to it. And yeah, this blend right here is awesome. It's kind of an expensive blend because all the bottles are like $50 to $70, which is kind of pushing the threshold for us. But with all three bottles, you can make the blend 3 times over. You can fill up 3 decanters, so your money does go a long way. And what's in the decanter over there is well worth a $60 to $70 average on these bottles right here.
So that's it for our main topic. Let's get into some other stuff.
So this is going to be related to this blend right here and whiskey related as well. So we're going to highlight the channel SLB Drinks. So over there, Kurt and Trenton, they do all kinds of stuff. It's kind of a family affair, which we appreciate a lot, but they had this blend on a recent video, and that's what we're going to link below. We're going to link their home blend video that they did where they tried something like 50 plus different home blends that were
Wow.
recommended to them. And shout out to Bill Kavanaugh for recommending our Banana Pancakes blend. This made it into the top 5 that they ended up tasting through and seeing,
cool.
and seeing what was what, seeing which one they liked best. It ultimately did not win, and this blend can vary a little bit depending on your single barrel. So we're going to maintain that our blend over there in the decanter would have won that, but that's not either here nor there. That's not how you say that phrase, but nonetheless, theirs was really good on the nose, a little drying on the palate, which we have had this blend go that way sometimes, depending on proportions and whatnot. But it's a fun video nonetheless, and we hope what it will do is give you some ideas for blends that might be good in your decanter. So check that out. It's down in the video description below. They have a few more followers or subscribers than we do, whatever you call them over here on YouTube. But if you haven't checked them out yet, you owe it to yourself to give them a watch.
That's it for today. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you have not subscribed, subscribe. And hit that bell notification to be notified when we post our monthly live streams.
Be good to each other, and until next time, cheers.
Are you ready?
We clapped, did our 10.
Ready, 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 ready to run. All I wanna do is have some fun.
Oh boy, that's bad.
That's all I talk about.
Love.
That was good. That was bad.
No, it was not good.